Yeah, can actually, Zach, can you?
Hi, everyone. So really excited tonight to bring you the next edition of the FRC workshop series here in Australia. And tonight we're so pleased to have a team from Granville Boys High School joining us. So I'd like to introduce Fiona. She is the lead mentor out there, and she has some of her team members as well. And they're going to give us a talk about creating the dream team and more specifically what they've been able to accomplish at Granville Boys. So welcome to the call. Yeah, it's all yours. Take it away.
Thank you, Luann, and good evening to everybody. So my name's Fiona Donnelly. I'm a teacher at Granville Boys High School. And in case you're interstate or overseas, we're in Western Sydney in New South Wales. And here with me, I have a few of our wonderful Year 9 students. We've got Adakan, Abhinav, Shahir, Namal, Aksha, Mohammed, and Zach, and you will hear from them during our presentation. So I'm really pleased to be part of the Macquarie University Mechatronics Network and to be able to talk to you about all of the exciting things that we're doing in terms of robots and technology here at Granville Boys High School, and how we're building the dream team. That's the name of our presentation tonight, including how we have built a robotics program here at our school and how we build teams to compete in competitions. So it's pretty obvious that the world is changing in terms of technology and automation. And I'm going to ask Namal to talk to you about the changing world. So I'm just going to move over to Namal.
All right. It's pretty obvious that the world is changing in terms of technology and automation. Changing in terms of the jobs that we students will be doing by the time. Changing because some jobs will become obsolete and replaced by automation. There are some predictions.
Hi, I'm going to stop you for 1 second. We can't hear you at all. So maybe you want to talk more into the computer screen?
Yeah, all right, fine. It's pretty obvious that the world is changing in terms of technology and automation, changing in terms of types of jobs that we students will be doing by the time we enter the workforce, changing because some jobs will become obsolete and replaced by automation. There are startling predictions that more than 5 million Australian jobs will simply disappear in the next 15 years as a result of technology, according to Australians Committee for Economic Development. That's 40% of jobs that exist in Australia today. Machines have been replacing human work since the Industrial Revolution. Since then, any routine, repeatable task has been an endangered job. Now, automation not only exists in factory, but also replacing human labor. A couple of years ago, the introduction of robots at Sydney's Port Botany cut the number of dock workers in half. 20 years ago, people would have laughed if they were told this would happen. Over in Western Australia, there are now driverless trucks operating in Rio Tinto mines in Pilbara. Bank tellers, supermarket checkout staff, and airline check-in staff have already been pushed aside by technology. The loss of these jobs will be challenging for the existing workforce, as there may not be enough jobs to go around. But a greater fear is not preparing we students for the work in this technological age. And changing in the current COVID-affected world in which the future could see technology and automation playing a bigger role in assisting societies to maintain their industries and economics while keeping workers safe.
Okay, so it's back to me. So really the world will need people, the relevant and appropriate skills to create these changes and support these changes. And I see that it is really important for schools like our school to nurture students and provide opportunities for them to pursue future tertiary education and employment in the areas that our society will need, particularly in the areas of automation and technology. We've been very fortunate to have had a connection with Macquarie University through the LEAP program, and I've been involved with that for the past about 5 years. And it was through this connection that these students sitting here with me tonight have developed their passion for robot design and programming. Earlier this year, we took a group of students out to Macquarie University on a Friday night to see their program, their first program, up and running in action, and it was really quite inspirational. So Mohammed, sitting next to me, is going to talk about that experience.
Each of these boys, stop.
Okay. We're missing your bit there, Mohammed. Okay, so can you pick that up from there? Okay.
At the beginning of this year, a group of students from Grammar Boys High School went out to Macquarie University to the mechatronics facility to see what happens there on Friday nights. It was quite an experience to see all sorts of people from all over Sydney. Some were high school students, some were university students, and some worked in industry. There were of all ages, from 16 to maybe 70. There was some great building and engineering equipment and facilities, including 3D printers, laser cutters, and a wind tunnel. There were all sorts of activities going on. Some people were building robots of various types. Others were coding using Python or Java. This visit to Macquarie University was inspirational, and it enables us to broaden the way we think and approach working as a team. We learned how teams can form alliances. We also learned about other ways to develop teams, such as fundraising. It confirmed that it was important to have specific team roles in order for a team to be successful and to achieve goals. For me personally, it was an opportunity to visit a facility in a university and to see firsthand what opportunities might be available for me now and also when I go to university.
Okay, thank you, Mohammed. So each of these boys sitting here with me tonight has participated in the first Lego League competition since they were in Year 7. Last year, they were recipients of the Innovation Project Award for an outstanding design idea for Doonside Railway Station, where they identified a real-world problem for the elderly and disabled residents of the area in that they could not access the train platform, as the only way to get down to the platform was by a steep set of concrete stairs. So their design idea was the wheel coaster, which would assist people onto the platform. Now, this year, as the boys are in Year 9, they have the opportunity to choose elective subjects. And it was clear to me that based on their engagement over the last couple of years, that an elective program here at the school would be a wonderful opportunity for these students. So student voice is always an important element for any successful school. And our principal, Noel Dixon, always encourages this. Mr. Dixon had meetings with Granville Boys High School students to discuss what they were interested in, what they wanted in their education, and also about the idea of having robotics embedded in their education here at the school. So he saw that it was important to enable these students to connect with a future-driven subject in the context of this changing world. So the result was that robotics was able to be accommodated in our timetable, and Granville Boys High School now offers robotics as an elective subject for our Stage 5 students in Year 9 and 10. And we also have a designated robotics room with a storage facility, which is really important. We also have a robot club at recess and lunch times, which is open to all students. It's buzzing with activity, and our older students mentor the younger students. And that provides the added bonus of the opportunity for them to develop leadership skills. So here's Atakan to talk about the Granville Boys High School Robot Club.
Here at Granville Boys, we have been running a robot club in our school. What our robot club is about is giving people the opportunity across all grades in our school to do robotics, whether you're just starting or improving your skills. How our robot club works is that during lunches and recesses, from Monday to Thursday, our students get to explore our passion for robotics by building and programming our robots to do things, whether it be an FFL mission or just something completely out of the ordinary. We have a group of managers that manage certain parts of the robot club, like the robot game table and the contents of the fridge. The way we set up Robot Club is first we had to organize our robotics equipment, since we had robotics equipment going back 6 years. From there, we came up with a system for storing the spike primes along with its parts. Finally, we got the Robot Club up and running and placed posters across the school to get more people involved in Robot Club. To keep things interesting in Robot Club, we have a weekly challenge that anyone is welcome to compete in. The point of the weekly challenge is to help us students improve our skills across robotics. Some challenges we've had so far include going in a straight line and getting a robot to avoid an obstacle. As the weeks go by, we plan to make the challenges harder and more difficult, where students will need to know how to use sensors and all sorts of attachments. At the end of the term, the group that has won the most challenges get a reward, such as charcoal chicken for their group. A big skill that we get to improve on is our leadership skills. The reason being is that not only as managers, but as seniors of the Robot Club, we get the opportunity to help our fellow students when they ask for it, whether it be they don't know how to do a certain mission or how to program a robot to turn.
Thank you, Adakan. So just about building a program at our school. I feel that the 3 essential ingredients to getting a robotics program established in a school are, number 1, a supportive principal. Number 2, a bunch of super enthusiastic and engaged students, which we have here. And number 3, committed teachers. I'm absolutely committed to the Granville Boys High School robotics program, and I directed a lot of my time to setting up and running the program because it's absolutely essential for its success. So I see it as an exciting step towards the future. So not only for the future of our students, but also the future of education. And I'm really proud to facilitate such a program at our school for our students. If they're going to be in a world where there's already robots, having an understanding of how they can be used in an ethical way and how jobs can be created around those robots has to be the best way to help them with the thinking and the sort of learning that they need to be well equipped for in the world that they're about to enter. Our elective robotics program consists of the practical component of design and programming. It consists of investigating real-world problems and creating solutions and exploring the effects of technology and automation on societies and economies in the past, the present, and into the future. And we're very grateful for our ongoing connection with Macquarie Uni through Luann and Angie Melville and all of the robotics tutors. We're also developing connections with industry as well, which we think is really important. We use a project-based learning style of delivery for this subject. I've completed professional learning in PBL, project-based learning, both here and overseas in the United States. And I've used that training to develop a successful application of project-based learning here at our school. And I've been doing that for a few years now. And robotics really does fit perfectly into the PBL framework. So what we've done here in developing this robotics elective program is really made it a cross-curricular learning program, and it combines elements of maths, science, TAS, history and geography. Granville Boys High School also offers an accelerated maths elective, which actually all of these students do, and robotics actually enables them the opportunity to have a practical application of their maths skills in their design and programming. So the learning is authentic and the subject has a real world connection to industry. The students are engaged, which means that their learning is sustained. They're not only developing knowledge and skills, but also 21st century learning skills of collaboration, critical thinking, communication and creativity as they work on their projects. They're working in groups together to solve real world problems. Every lesson is collaborative. The students are going to need to be great communicators in their futures and will need to be team players. Not only will they need knowledge and skills, but they will also apply those skills to their learning, and they will need to know how to learn because we actually don't know what they're going to be learning in the future. So they need to be lifelong learners. Now I've got Shahir and Abhinav to share their experience of developing 21st century learning skills. So I'm going to ask Shahir to go first, and Abhinav, you will go second.
Okay. The importance of communication, critical thinking, problem solving, and collaboration is going to be extremely important for the next generation's workforce. Communication in robotics is necessary as coders and engineers need to work together to finish missions on the game board. I have developed effective skills to enable communication within my team, which is essential for achieving our agreed goal. The code and design. The coder and the designer need to work together as the coder and the designer need to work together as the code needs to work with the design, as you can't make another robot and then use the other robot's code on your own robot. We often need to discuss and debate our ideas. For me, my dream is to become a robotic engineer, and I understand when I'm in the workforce, communication is key to success. Likewise, collaboration is critical for success when I enter the workforce, as people are often required to work in teams with other professionals to achieve goals. Collaboration in the classroom here at school can take many forms. For example, the teams share attachments when it comes to the competition. It's important to acknowledge that each person has a specific skill set and answer to has a specific skill set and knowledge to contribute. Creativity can come from many forms. One including a creative answer to a difficult problem. When we had a problem with setting 4 movement motors, we made a solution where 2 programs were working together as one.
Okay, thank you, Shahir. So next we have Abhinav also sharing his experience developing his 21st century learning skills.
Hi, my name is Abhinav, and today I'm going to discuss about how I demonstrated teamwork and collaboration during robotics. But before I start off with my actual speech, I'm going to give you a short summary on what I'm about to talk about. Firstly, I'm going to give out 2 examples on how I've demonstrated teamwork and collaboration during robotics. Then how I've used teamwork and collaboration in my other subjects. And then to finish it off is with how I can use these skills at work in the future. All right, example number 1. This first example is about collaboration. I've demonstrated collaboration by working with my teammates to create a robot which can do multiple challenges to earn higher amount of points in a shorter amount of time. This was only possible by using all the ideas my teammates had given me. Example number 2. This second example is about teamwork. I've demonstrated teamwork in many ways, like helping with the construction of my teammates' robots, giving them tips, design instructions, and helping them build their robot. That's how I've used teamwork. Okay, I've used teamwork and collaboration in many of my other subjects, many times, like during science class. I had a group of 3, which had to do an experiment. We each had to work out who was going to do what. So what I did to solve that problem is that I allocated a part of the experiment to a person who had the ability to do it. We also ran into a similar problem in history. So we were meant to do a presentation, and all the people wanted to do the easiest part. So what I did was I gave a hard part of the work and an easy part to my teammates. And also I gave them links and resources that would help them. Also, I can not only just use these skills at school, I can also use them at work. So suppose I was working for an architecture company, all right? And my boss had given me and my team a floor plan to design. I would use teamwork to collect ideas from everyone in the team and then put them together. Then I would use collaborations and put all those ideas to use and make a final amazing product. So that's all I have to say about how I've shown teamwork and demonstration. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Abhinav. So another element to project-based learning is having a public product or exhibition to showcase skills and knowledge to the world beyond our school gates. So the first Lego League and first robotics competitions, they give our students the opportunity to do that. At the Granville Boys High School Robotics program, with of course the assistance of Macquarie University, enables our students to develop their knowledge and skills and be competitive and set goals. Here's Aksha to talk about being competitive in competitions.
Hello, my name is Aksha, and I'm one of the students at Granville Boys High School who got the opportunity to compete in this exciting event, the LEGO First Robotics Competition. A robotics competition shows all the skills and abilities students and peers received and gained from all practices they have done to get a mission perfectly 100% of the time. It can help with future experiences for something such as work, as they may be under pressure or something may have not gone as planned. But this can all be used in their future career paths, even if they don't involve coding or robotics. The fact that there is a time limit / deadline or the need to collaborate can all help in one's future career. However, while all these things may help, let's talk about what it takes to get into a robotics competition. When you first start, you are told to download a coding program called LEGO Education Spike Prime. Easy enough. In there, you can find various builds to create, such as the base of your Spike, which is essentially the motherboard, which sends and receives all the code. Here you are met with two options. Option 1, follow a robotic Spike Prime robot to create, or option 2, create your own robotic Spike Prime robot, which can look cool, have the ability to have multiple attachments, or be able to do multiple missions at once with said multiple attachments. It can be fast, accurate, or even both. The only problem is that it can be difficult to think of something that can do all these things. The robot may also be too big or too tall or just too bulky to have multiple, let alone any attachments. Essentially, you must be creative, but not too creative. The coding has to be the hardest part of the competition. You must first find the place where you will start every single one of your missions. And if its position is even a few centimeters from where the robot is supposed to be, it can just outright miss the entire mission without even touching it. These are all things that the student must take into account before starting any mission. To create the code for the robot was made much easier thanks to the LEGO Education Spike program, as without it, it would have been a nightmare for our students. Once you start coding though, it's just a giant game of trial and error. Will the robot fit under here? How many rotations do I need for the robot to go here? How many degrees do I need for the robot to turn left or right? And the list can go on, but it is all things a student must take into consideration to compete in this educational event. While I am still in the practicing stage of the competition, I have learned many things, such as not being too creative, as it just ruins all the time and usefulness of a build, or being able to code quicker, as practice always makes perfect, or in this case, makes coding faster. Thank you for listening to my speech.
Thank you, Aksha. So it's important for our students to have real-world connections to university and industry. And one reason is that it makes their learning in the classroom authentic and connected to the real world. This may inspire students to consider their futures and set themselves goals. Granville Boys High School Robotics program may well be a stepping stone for some of our students towards a dream course and career. And next we've got Namal to share his thoughts on this.
Hi, my name is Namal. I see the robotics at Granville Boys High School could be a stepping stone for myself and some of my peers into the field of engineering and computer sciences and mechatronics. This exposure to robots and coding is helping us by giving us opportunities to explore our passion of robotics across all levels of robotics in the classroom, from FFL all the way to FRC. My dream job is to become a mechatronics engineer by studying mechatronics at university. The robotics competitions I've done across the years will help me in the years to come when I do mechatronics projects. The reason I want to become a mechatronics engineer is that I could continue exploring my passion of robotics and be able to do the job I love really well. Other students like Artikan have already decided what they want to pursue: hereditary studies in the area of robotic programming and design. Artikan now has the opportunity to engage in a subject here at school, where you can explore different technologies and have real-world connections with universities and industry. That's it.
Thank you, Namal. Thank you to all of our students. So that concludes our presentation this evening on building the dream team. And we're now happy to answer any questions that you might have.
That was great. Thank you so much. We have a bunch of questions for you tonight. So the first one is, can anyone join your robot club or elective course, or are there specific entry requirements?
Okay, so I'm going to throw that question over to Adhikar. Adhikar, are you prepared?
So anyone who has a passion for robotics is more than welcome to join the robot club. Even seniors in year 12 or juniors in year 7 can join.
Cool. So a related question is, how do you deal with people who just turn up to the robot club and don't necessarily get involved?
Well, I'm going to answer that one. Actually, we don't really have that problem because I think robotics is, I don't know, I think you're either interested in it or you're not. We've got plenty of other things to do at our school. So far we haven't really encountered anybody who, you know, is not engaged in what we're doing here in the club.
Okay, and another question is, how do you spread the skills across the team?
Okay, I'm going to get Abhinav to answer that one. Okay, so Luann, could you please repeat that question?
Of course. How do you spread the skills across the entire team?
It's not really much to say, but like helping people, that's pretty much how you can spread like the skills. It's not really much, it's just like helping, collaboration, teamwork. That's all we do to like spread the skills across like the whole group.
Okay.
I'll add in that like we give our team members like certain roles, like we say one's a programmer, one's a builder, one's a designer, and we each do the components of our roles, whether it be programming the robot or building an attachment. And we always switch roles every once in a while to just, you know, muck around with robotics.
Cool.
And so actually just building on what Adhikar just said, so they do have those specific roles, but we do, as Adhikar said, swap around every so often so that everybody has the opportunity to try other things that they might not realise that they're actually really good at.
Awesome. The next question is, how is your club funded? Do students do fundraisers?
Well, not as yet, but we're going to be working on that. It's a little bit difficult in this new COVID world, but we do intend on reaching out to external organisations. But at the moment, we're supported by our school. It's quite a humble program at this point, but it works and it's enough, and the students really enjoy it. And we seem to have new members coming every day.
How many members are there altogether on the team?
I think at any one, well, in the club, in the robotics club, at any recess or lunch break, I'm counting about 25.
That's great.
Of all different age groups. So that's, yeah, all stages of the school.
So it sounds like it's a really vibrant program out there. And a lot of that probably has to do with you. Do you have a plan, or how do you get other teachers involved?
Okay, well, I mean, we're starting off small, but as we get bigger, as the demand, you know, I see lots of students walking past and having a look in, and I'm sure there's going to be more interested students. So I guess the school is going to have to expand this. So, you know, we'd have to ensure that we've got other teachers who are passionate and can keep maintain the enthusiasm.
Okay. All right, we have another question that's come in. It's, do you have students who have gone on to uni and come back to mentor the current students?
Okay, well, not yet, because we haven't been doing it that long, but I've actually had this conversation with these students here, and I talked to them about when they go to uni, because they already have plans of, you know, doing mechatronics at university, and I can see them doing that. And so we've been talking about the idea that they come back as tutors and they're sharing their experience and their knowledge with students from their old school.
So I think we should put them all on the spot right now and get a firm commitment that they're each going to do that. And then it'll be recorded and they can't go back.
All right, so just
All right, another question. So you all have spoken really well about the keys to getting a team established, which is critical. Have you had any thoughts about sustainability? And if so, what do you think the key things are that the team needs to think about in order to be sustainable?
so do you mean sustainable throughout the competition?
Throughout the competition, and I think for years to come.
Years to come. Okay, so I'm going to put Aksha and Namal on the spot here. Okay, so the question is, how can you keep your team enthusiasm or your process sustained and keep that enthusiasm?
I mean, I personally, I used to have a toy robot that I just took apart and played around with, which definitely helped me while I was creating the robot because I could become a lot more creative and think of more ideas and designs. So I think I'll just like try use motors in the future and whatnot.
It's more of if you're entertained with something, the more you want to pursue it and like you gain a passion for it, right? So like for example, our senior students, we have passion for this. Now we're trying to get that passion for the younger students, and like we want to continue this passion for robotics for the coming years.
Actually, that's so true, and that's why the robotics club is great because, you know, these boys won't be here at Granville Boys High School forever. They are going to go off to uni and they are going to come back and mentor our other students. But while they're here, they are playing a really valuable role in mentoring the younger students. So we've got year 7 students that are coming into the club. They've never touched programming or built robots before. And we've got our older students who have got their experience and they're sharing it. And it's a community of learners. So that sustains the program here at the school. As for the sustainability of the enthusiasm within the teams, I think we might have to, you know, have some, I don't know, some little, what did you say, Shivi? Yeah, but anyway, that's something that when I notice that there's a drop in enthusiasm, I might have to come up with some ideas. So anybody out there, send us your ideas.
Awesome. So another question that's come in is, how do your FLL students move on to FRC?
Okay, well, I'll start that, but then I'm going to throw it over to some of the other students. So they've been doing the first Lego League for 3 years. They're very experienced at that, and they're very motivated too because, you know, they've had some success there with the Innovation Project, but they're really motivated to do well this year. With the FRC, we started working on that at the beginning of the year and then COVID struck, but it was something that they hadn't done before. And so we're still really in the early stages of building those skills. So I guess it's just persevering with that and continuing and pushing through and just developing the skills. But I think because of their enthusiasm, I think that's going to drive that. And I think with the Robot Club, we will, Adikan mentioned earlier in our presentation that each week we have a challenge and we add in a little complication in a, you know, challenge, go in a straight line, then go around a yellow box and then tip something over. So each week we add something to it. Next term, we're going to incorporate the FRC robots into that, and we're going to start school challenges with that just to brush up on skills. And it always is helpful when we've got a prize at the end of the term. And
what are the prizes at the end of the term?
Food.
Food. Of course it is. This is a question for the students. Have any of your plans changed since you joined robotics for what comes after high school?
Adikan? I'm going to throw that to Adikan.
Personally, for me, no, because I've always known that I wanted to do something with robotics related ever since I was in year 7, even in year 6. Do you guys?
Well, you see, robotics is now becoming part of the future, right? So we're moving from the nuclear era to now the automation era. Now, considering that we got the COVID thing, we might be looking towards automation and AI for the future in what's to come. So it hasn't changed my plans for the uni yet.
Okay. So we had one comment that came in. Great work, Dream Team. You were well prepared and it was very well presented. Keep up the good work. So
Okay, guys.
I don't think we have any more questions. Do you have any parting remarks?
Well, look, we've really enjoyed the opportunity of presenting tonight. This is sometimes moving out of your comfort zone. It's a scary thing, but it's a good thing. And so I think it's a great experience for these students, sharing their experience and their learning curve with other people in your robotics community. So we're very pleased to have that opportunity. And is there anything else anybody else wanted to say? Oh, I've got a question we've got Mr. Mandarakis over here, who's another teacher. He has put a question to me. Has it changed the way I teach? Yes, it has. Yes, it has. Look, we always, as teachers, we're required to embed technology into our classes. This is next level. So we're certainly ticking the big box with that one. And so I'm really proud to be part of that. In terms of changing the way I teach, I mentioned before that I've done a lot of project-based learning, but this has really, it's been a perfect fit for project-based learning in developing those 21st century learning skills. We use that slogan all the time, but they're real, those collaboration skills, communication, creativity, creative solutions and problem solving. We're doing it all the time in the classroom, every lesson, every day. So it really is a valuable learning experience for the students and very satisfying for me to see as a teacher.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I want to say thank you for all you're doing, as well as thank you for tonight. Thank you to all of the amazing young men who were part of this presentation tonight. You all did great. You did Granville Boys proud. I also want to say thank you to our behind the scenes crew here. As usual, Project Bucephalus is there. I think that IC Robotics was helping out tonight, as well as Gordon. So thank you to all of you. And I think that's about it. So I wish everyone a great night and we'll see you next week.
Thank you. Bye.